Thank you, everyone, for joining us for today's GSA Fleet desktop workshop on FY26 rates and billing information and reminders. With that, I'm going to turn things over to Ryan Bangdia and Reese Clark.
Thanks, Stacy, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today, we are going to talk about FY26 rates and some changes to other billing and rate-related things for GSA Fleet. So a brief table of contents for today. We're going to touch on FY26 leasing rate changes. Then we're going to talk about VCSS and wallet, followed by billing reminders, and lastly, some G-Invoicing reminders, as that ties into everything very nicely as well. Starting with the FY26 rate changes, these will be effective on October 1st of this year, 2025. And this year, GSA is implementing a 12% rate increase for our leasing rates. That 12% is an aggregate figure, and as always, the individual changes from one SIN to another will be different based on the financial performance of similar vehicles, and we'll show more in an upcoming slide about what that looks like. It might be higher than 12% and might be lower than 12%, depending on what vehicle you have. Touching briefly on some key financial drivers that are informing this rate change, maintenance and repair costs have doubled from FY20. They're nearly 100% higher, and they're going to continue increasing into FY26. In addition, acquisition prices have risen 55% since FY20, and that might be something you've experienced in your own lives and your lives outside of work, but it's definitely something that has hit GSA Fleet pretty hard and is one of the main reasons we're needing to increase rates. Combined with that, the proceeds that we are receiving from selling vehicles that are getting replaced have decreased from their peak in 2022 by 24%. So we're spending more money to buy new vehicles, and we are receiving less money for selling old vehicles. Taking a look at some very common SINs, this is to help illustrate the what I mean by saying the 12% is an aggregate rate change across all vehicles, but the individual change at per vehicle level might be different. For example, on the left-hand side, we have a common SIN 20, and that is going to have a 5% increase to the monthly rate in FY26, with an 11% increase to the mileage rate. So overall, lower than the 12% aggregate. On the far right side, you have the SIN 91, which is receiving a 20% increase on the monthly side and a 3% increase on the mileage side. So that's going to be more than the aggregate 12% increase fleet-wide. And then right in the middle, you have the lovely little SIN 9, which is getting almost exactly that 12% increase with an 11% monthly and 11% mileage rate increase. The rate bulletins are currently posted, and you can look at them the same place that they're always found. But we also have rates now in gsafleet.gov. That's under the offerings tab, and then you'll be able to see the lease rates there as well. Moving on to some changes to short-term rental in FY26. We're going to be implementing the first rate increase since FY19 to the short-term rental program. So beginning on October 1st, we're going to be using a restructured tier system to assess the short-term rental fee. And the result of this change is an aggregate 2% increase to the percent-based fee tiers and a $15 increase to the flat fee tier, as you can see on the screen. In addition, GSA STR will begin assessing a 2% fee on all supplemental charges, such as tolls, accident damage, and we will pass through the entire cost of all fuel transactions. Also, beginning October 1st, GSA will be implementing a streamlined rate structure for purchasing orders. So rather than a seasonal fee change, express desk and non-standard orders will receive a fixed 5% fee on all vehicles. In addition, we are no longer charging a 10% fee on the first vehicle with a 2% fee on following vehicles. Rather, that same fixed 5% fee will apply to all of those vehicles. Uh, the rate for standard vehicle purchasing will remain unchanged at 2%. Now I'm going to hand it over to Reese to talk about VCSS and Wallet.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so VCSS is the enterprise system that's used for all of GSA Fleet customers, where you can view your bills and download, the PDF statements via a PDF, or you can download the billing statement as an Excel file. And also, it's used to view your account balances. So if you're looking to see what your BOAC owes, basically, like if you have any outstanding bills, you'll be able to search that there. The most important thing here is that payments are not made through VCSS. VCSS is just to download the bill and then just view the bill and then see any outstanding balances from there. One thing that is a little bit different is that the term BOAC is referred to as the account code. So on your PDF bill, it would say your account code is, and then that's just your normal BOAC number. The verbiage is that's just what is used in the system. And then so each BOAC, so basically like in order to you all to basically view any sort of data and download anything, you would need to basically register/gain access to each BOAC. You would do that via the website. There's a section where you would just basically do a re request thing, and like that's how you'll gain access to your BOAC and view any data. And then lastly here, so the reports can be pulled by any fleet business line, right? So leasing, STR, and the purchasing, you'll be able to see all of those bills if you use all three, or just whichever GSA Fleet service you use. That's what you'll be able to see and pull. Moving on here, so this is just so this is just the home page, if you will. So if you Google the 4 letters VCSS and then press search, and then the first link should be this website. So once you press that, it'll take you to this sort of page here. So the left-hand system login, so that's if obviously like if you already have an account and you have access to your BOAX, that's what you press, and then you'll just go through the login process there. The middle area, that's where you have to do the sort of gain access to your BOAX, right? So that's the section that you press, and it'll walk you through how to do that. Yeah, like so. Lastly, the third box is for any sort of support request, right? So if you want to replace a user, or make any sort of changes from there, that's the area that you would press. And moving on, so wallet. So GSA Wallet is listed on gsafleet.gov. It's one of the many sort of systems or applications, if you will, that's on the overall website. And so Wallet supports all of GSA Fleet business lines, so purchasing, leasing, and then short-term rental. And so who uses Wallet? On the next slide, so all federal users use Wallet. So on the next slide here would showcase, so all federal customers must use Wallet. And so the only people that aren't aren't able to use wallet would be any sort of non-federal customers, so tribal contractors, like people like that. And then the next slide just showcases the basics here. So at a bare minimum, it is required by not only GSA but also Treasury that you as the customer would list the Treasury account symbol that is for your BOAX that you want to use and that sort of thing. So at a bare minimum, that like you would need to like, list that field within a wallet. And then one question that we always get is basically how do I gain access to wallet, or I'm yeah, like basically I'm unable to see wallet, right? So the only way that you as a customer will be able to use wallet slash have access to the application is via the finance officer role, and so that role is given to you by your bureau codes account administrator. So you would just ask that person, hey, I manage these BOACs, I need the access, and then they'll basically grant you that sort of role. And so these the like users that gain access to a wallet, their responsibility is just simply to maintain the financial data on for all of their like BOACs, right? So whether that's at a minimum the treasury account symbol, but then also any sort of IPAC funding that you want to use to automatically pay your bills, that's what you'll be able to list in the LOAs. And lastly, so it is your responsibility as a GSA customer to maintain all of the LOAs for all of the BOACs that you use. So every year you would need to make the new fiscal year's LOAs, right? So for fiscal 26, you would need to make all brand new LOAs. And one sort of cool thing is that you can actually make the new fiscal year's stuff now. Like if you wanted to, after this meeting, go into Wallet and make the fiscal 26 LOAs, you can do so. And so the next slide here just showcases the like wallet home page, if you will. So basically, once you have access to wallet and you navigate yourself to the system, this is what the home screen would look like for you. And one key thing that I would like to point out is Wallet is designed at the like bureau code level, right? So, like for example, if you are a Army customer that is from Bureau 19, you'll be able to the administrator would grant you access to Wallet via Bureau 19, and with that being said, you'll see every single BOAC, even though like it may not be yours or not. So you see every single BOAC that is under that bureau code, and that's all of the LOAs that you'll be able to see, right? So we just want to make it clear and just like really stress on this is to when you're making updates, make sure that you're updating your own BOAX information. We've seen basically situations where a customer accidentally edited someone else's BOAC just because they weren't aware, of how the wallet works, or they just, simply did like a human error and edited the like, wrong line, right? So we just want to make that clear and basically like stress that. And then, yeah, so you'll see here, so there's all sort of different features like within wallets. So if you want to make a brand new LOA, let's say you're making one for fiscal 26, you would just simply press that blue button there that says plus line of accounting. That will walk you through the entire process of making a brand new LOA. And then, so let's say that you want to update your treasury account symbol for your BOAC, or you want to update the funding information for your BOAX line, you would just simply locate that like particular BOAX information by using the left-handed filters to locate all the LOAs for that BOAC, and then you would just simply press that three sort of dots on the right hand side to basically edit that LOA that you want to edit. And on the next screen here, so this showcases once you press that blue sort of button to make a new LOA, the left-handed image, that's what you'll see. So if you want to make a line of accounting for, BOAC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You would just fill in the information that is for the BOAC. So you would pick the fiscal year that you want to make the line for, the agency. So the agency would, there would only be one drop down for you, just depending on wherever you're coming from. If you're an Army personnel from Bureau 19, the agency would only say Army, and then the Bureau code would only have the Bureau 19 there. And then you would just simply type in the BOAC that you're trying to make the line for, and then pick the like fleet offering. So whether it's leasing, non-accident, leasing accident, STR, or purchasing, you'll just basically press that, and then press the add button. So then that would take you to the second half of the screen here, and this is that's the area where you would just simply enter in your treasury account symbol. You would fill in the sort of red highlighted boxes there. Those are usually the fields that are a part of the treasury account symbol. There are some instances where the sort of top two areas are needed, but those are very rare, and most of the time it's just those four boxes there that's highlighted. And on the next slide here, this shows you the IPAC information. So like within that same editing screen, you would just simply scroll down the page, and if you're a civilian user, like civilian meaning non-DoD, the left-handed side is what you'll see, and then if you're a DoD member, the right-hand side is what you'll see. So for DoD on the right-hand side, you'll just fill in all those fields that have the like red asterisks, because those are the fields that we need in order for your bill to be IPAC'd. And one thing that I would like to point out is the supplemental accounting information field. That is a completely optional field. You can leave it blank. You can put your name in there. Like it's just something that we made for you to put anything. I know that some GSA customers need to put their full accounting string in there, so they would just put that there. But it's really just an extra field where you can literally put anything there. So for the next slide here, so I'm going to go over just a few billing reminders and just sort of information. So VCSS, like we talked about earlier, is where you would download all of your bills. So that is not going away with the changes that Ryan will talk about later coming in FY26. VCSS is will be here to stay, and that's the only way that a GSA Fleet customer will be able to see their bills. We don't mail or email them. That's the only way that you'll be able to download and see them. And so every monthly bill will be available to be downloaded around the 5th of every month. So depending on what calendar day the 5th is, it could be the 7th, it could be the 6th, or it could be the 5th, right? Just depending on if it's a weekend or not. And so for mileage, for leasing, the billing really starts when the miles gets reported. So that can happen either via the telematic device at the gas pump, or there's a sort of application that I like to call within gsafleet.gov where you can like manually or bulk upload the mileage for all your vehicles, and then that is what is used to generate your monthly charge there. And then lastly here, so I get this question a ton. So every bill for leasing or for any like GSA business line is at the BOAC level, meaning so for leasing, all vehicles that are assigned to your BOAC will be on that same billing statement. And so our billing statement works. So for the June dated bill, that bill is for May, charges. So our bills are a month behind, right? So the next month's bill would be the July dated bill. That'll be for June sort of charges. And then lastly here, on the next slide, just showcases all of these sales codes that you'll be charged for. And these will all appear on your monthly bill, right? So the left-handed side here is just the regular charges. So the A1 charges, that's just your normal monthly lease charge, and X3 is the AFB surcharge, and then P1 and then X5 are just two charges that are additional. And for the short-term rental bills, you'll see like an A8 charge. That's just the charge that's allocated for any short-term rental use. And then so lastly, on the right-handed side are the sales codes that are for for AIEs, right? So these are any sort of, like I like to call like a very special charge, right? So if for example, like if your vehicle gets into an accident, you'll see those accident charges via the V3 or the V4. And then if, like for example, like if your vehicle gets towed or if there's wear, you'll be able to see that like X2 charge listed there, like, and it'll tell you the information. But if for any AIE, if you want any further information, like for example, like if you want to know what the exact charge is, you would just need to reach out to your FSR, and he or she will be able to get you the exact charges and details on those charges. Yeah. Yeah. So I think the like next slide here, I'll be passing it back to Mr. Ryan, talking about some GeoFin stuff.
Thanks, Reese. Those billing reminders are really helpful and a perfect segue to G-Invoicing. And this session is not going to go into too much depth, but hopefully you've been able to attend one of the recent trainings that we had on G-Invoicing. Those sessions are available, the recordings and the slide decks are available at the same link that Stacy shared for this training. And we have some more coming up, but it's important to note that G-Invoicing is coming, and hopefully you've heard about it. It's a Treasury application with mandatory adoption requirements, and it's designed to house all intergovernmental transactions. Some folks are already using G-Invoicing today. GSA Fleet integration is coming in FY26 next spring, beginning in April. So what is the impact? All federal agencies will be impacted by this requirement, and the only exceptions are non-federal business, such as tribal organizations, DC government, and contractors. So a great way to think about it is if you need to be using Wallet, then you also need to be using G-Invoicing. Some of the next steps, GSA is currently working on implementing agency headquarter general terms and condition agreements, or those GT&C agreements. And we're working with each individual agency because we know everyone's requirements are different. And we're making sure that they have everything on their end ready to go for when we begin a gradual rollout in April of next year. And it's not going to be a light switch. So it's going to overlap with legacy processes for a while we make sure everyone is on board and has all of the updates made. So to that end, IPAC will continue operating business as usual well beyond that date. And we've worked with Treasury to make sure that we have our proper exceptions in place. And so we will continue to bill as usual until everyone is eventually transferred over to G-Invoicing. Some of the trainings, like I mentioned, we just recently held a couple of trainings in June, and those are available. The recordings are available for you to download and watch at your leisure. We also will begin quarterly Q&A sessions beginning in July. And so those have registration open already, and we highly encourage you, if you do have questions, to attend those sessions. That's a great way for us to interface with you as well and understand more about your needs. So with that, we wrap up our presentation, and now I'll take a look at the Q&A and see if there's anything that we've missed.
Yeah, we have a couple here, Ryan. Just a couple. I'm going to summarize a couple of things that we've had come in of repeat questions and answers that we've given there, and then I'll shoot you the new questions that have come in. We've had a couple people asking, there was a typo on one of our slides here. So thank you for flagging that. We'll fix that for our next recorded session that we do. There's a telematics P1 Pro Plus charge. That is no longer for the Pro Plus plan. As many of you have pointed out, that is no longer a charge that GSA is assessing. The P1 sales code will continue to be used for any telematics ancillary charges that you might need to receive, though. So we are still using that P1. It'll still be for telematics. Before you get charged anything through that sales code, though, you should likely be made aware via email why you might be receiving a charge. So that will continue to be used, but it's not for the Pro Plus plan anymore. So sorry about that confusion and that typo, and we'll get that fixed for the version that goes online. We have a lot of questions coming in about the AFV surcharge, Ryan. So if you want to just give a quick summary of what happens at the change in fiscal year for AFV surcharge.
Yeah, so AFV surcharge is something that is set at the agency headquarter level, and it can change throughout the year as agencies' acquisition trends may change throughout the year, and that's charged per vehicle per month, and it's designed to recoup the incremental cost between the standard vehicle, the standard ICE vehicle, and the alternative fuel vehicle equivalent. So as agency AFV acquisitions go down, that AFV surcharge might decrease or stop altogether. And that's something, again, we work with the agencies at the HQ level. And so your FSRs can also help you, but your agency HQ fleet managers are a really good resource for that.
Great, thanks, Ryan.
I see one question on where to find the SIN rate increase data, and that is in the same place that the previous rate bulletins were always found. That is GSA.gov vehicle rates. Sorry, I don't have the exact URL on hand, but in gsafleet.gov, you will also be able to go under the offerings tab and see the rates there as well.
Great. We've been getting a couple of questions about STR and the timing of billing for that. And so I know that we have our STR folks on the call here as well, but I'll give a general answer and then invite them to jump in if I say anything wrong or if there's anything more that they want to add. There have been questions about the timing of STR billing. And so the way that GSA Fleet bills you, our customer, for short-term rental expenses is once the vendor bills us, we bill you. So you don't get charged until we get charged by the vendor. And sometimes our vendors take a little while to bill us, and we recognize that that's a problem. And that's something that we do communicate to our vendors and try to work with them as much as possible. So if you're sometimes seeing a charge that's happening, 6 months or a year after you've already completed your rental, it's because we didn't get billed by that vendor until 6 months to a year after your rental was completed. And so that's kind of why the timing for this can get a little bit funky. And if you ever have any questions about that, our short-term rental team is excellent and always there to support you. And so you can always reach out to them, and we can drop that email address in the chat for you if you need it. But, they're just a great resource for you. It's GSA_rental@gsa.gov is their contact information. So any specific questions related to your short-term rental billing, they are the best POCs to kind of help you through that. I don't know, Joe, if you're able to go off mute or if there's anything more you'd add to that. All right. Sounds like probably not. So Ryan, we can go to the next one. We've gotten a couple of questions about AIEs as well. And so I'm happy to help answer this, Ryan, if you want. But there are questions about how folks can get more information about their AIEs than what appears directly on their billing statement. And so do you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah. So I guess if you're looking for more information on, for example, like an X2 charge or a V3, I would recommend emailing your a signed FSR, they would be able to provide you further details, like what the exact charge is. For example, let's say you replace a like windshield, right? Like on the bill, it will say just X2 or V3, like it won't say the actual charge. So I would just highly suggest reaching out to your signed FSR, or you can reach out to our team. Is the like fleet business oversight team email. Like Megan, could you like post that in the chat, or maybe Stacy? I don't recall the exact email like string because it's very long. But I guess like so either your FSR or our team email box, you all can reach out to, and then we can help you figure out what the exact details of that charge is.
Yeah, we actually have it right up here on that screen. It's that fleet business oversight at gsa.gov that you can reach out to us. We're always happy to help demystify charges. Sometimes we do have to loop in your FSR though, because they're the ones who are the most familiar with them. But we have tools at our disposal to help research as well. So we're happy to be there and provide you with that support. We've got a couple of questions about wallet access. And Carrie, I see your question on here. I assume that you're referring to access to wallet. If you need the finance officer role applied in Wallet, that is something that you need to go through your agency account administrator for. And again, if you don't know who that is, or your FSR hasn't been able to get you that POC information, you can reach out to us at fleetbusinessoversight@gsa.gov and we can get you that POC. But it's someone within your own internal agency who has to grant you that access. We can't do it for you. So you can reach out to us and we can try to help point you in the right direction of the person, but we can't be the ones to give you that access specifically. There's a question about optional equipment and how they can tell what optional equipment they're being charged for. Ryan, do you want to answer that question, or you want me to take that one?
Yeah, so in terms of the dollar amount that you're being charged for the optional equipment, you'll be able to see that on the statements that you can pull from VCSS. But in terms of what that equipment is, I think you'll have to reach out to your FSR. Megan, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but
yeah, your FSR is definitely the best person to talk to. Again, our email address here is a central place that we can help too. But your FSR should be your first line of questions for that one. But we're happy to help demystify that as well. And we are working, that is something that we've talked about for an enhancement for GSAfleet.gov to make that more apparent for both you and us, because for us, it takes quite a bit of time to pull together all the pieces that contribute to that code that rate for you. So it is something that we're hoping to improve in the future, just so you all know, but might not be here for a little while. All right, so let's see a couple of other questions.
I see from James for FY26 rates in GSAfleet.gov. The update is coming. We still have to load that via our developers, and so that is coming shortly. But the rate bulletins are currently live on the GSA.gov website, so you can see them there for FY26. And again, always feel free to reach out to your FSRs and with more specific questions, this oversight email if you have.
All right, we've gotten a lot of questions about G-Invoicing as well. So if we can maybe, Ryan, have you restate, when will G-Invoicing be utilized by GSA for billing?
Yeah, so it's going to be a gradual rollout. We're currently working to establish the general terms and conditions agreements, but we will not be processing any orders for fleet services through G-Invoicing until April 26. And even then, it's going to be a gradual rollout based on partner readiness. So we're working with you now to establish those agreements and make sure that we're both ready for that go live date, but April 2026 will be the earliest that orders and billing will be running through G-Invoicing.
Great, thanks, Ryan. Stacy, we have a question for that STR email address getting put in the chat. I don't seem to have the ability to send it to everybody. Are you able to drop that into the chat for folks so that they can reach out to the short-term rental team if needed?
Yeah, I also want to look and see because you should. Oh, I just fixed it, so now you can if there's anything else, but I'll grab that and post it.
I have it right here already, so I will just put
Okay.
that in there. So that GSA
Right,
underscore rental. Yeah, thanks, Stacy. That was quick.
I forget that you have to reset that every single time.
That is kind of silly.
Yeah.
So there's questions on where can we find our FSR. There was another question earlier of where can you find what SIN my vehicle is too. All of that information is available on gsafleet.gov. When you go in and view any of your individual vehicles through that vehicle inventory dropdown, you can see who your FSR is right at the top of the screen. So we make it really easy for you to see. Also at gsa.gov, if you don't know, like if you don't have a vehicle leased through us and you need to find an FSR to contact to get a new lease, at gsafleet.gov, or I'm sorry, at gsa.gov, you can find your FSR there based on your geographic location at this point in time. I will say I'm not sure if that has been updated given recent staffing changes across the government. So your best bet probably is still gsafleet.gov. And if you're really having issues, again, you can always reach out to Fleet Business Oversight at gsa.gov and we can help you out. There's lots of questions about G-Invoicing and payments, right? So as Ryan has kind of talked about and said, and some of these, these questions were typed a little while ago, so maybe you've already felt like it's been answered, but just to reiterate, we will continue to use the current billing practices that we have today for a little while, even after G-Invoicing is deployed. So pay.gov is still going to be a method of payment that you can use. At this point in time, we are still going to be doing we are still accepting checks through our lockbox, although I know that there has been an EO to reduce checks within the government, so that there could be new guidance coming for that. But at this point in time, we don't have that ready. So for right now, yes, checks can still be used. I would encourage you to investigate with your agency if there's another way that you can pay your bills too, just in case that does start to go away in the future. But pay.gov, checks, all of those, IPAC will continue to operate as they do today, and VCSS will continue to be where you can view all of your billing details for GSA Fleet services, even after G-Invoicing goes live. So just really want to get that message across. Make sure you guys all hear that.
Kind of to piggyback on that, I see another question. Will 7600Bs still be required and signed by both parties in FY26 until G-Invoicing is up and running? So GSA Fleet historically has never required those to be signed, but we do understand that some of our partner agencies do require it in order to remit funding. So like Megan mentioned, business as usual, nothing changes until we are live in G-Invoicing. So if that is something that you require, continue to proceed with how you have been doing it until now. I see a question. Can you tell us where the lease rate code is found? Also, my vehicle is not visible in the vehicle inventory, but I can see it in other windows. How do we find the SIN in this case? So it's the lease rate is based on the SIN. So all vehicles of a specific SIN will have the same lease rate, and that functionally is the lease rate code that you're speaking of. In terms of where to find SIN, again, that is on the details page of gsafleet.gov for your vehicle. If you are having issues, definitely feel free to reach out to your FSR or to this business oversight inbox, and we can help you with your individual questions and cases as needed. And yes, VCSS is for viewing statements and for viewing payments made against those statements. There is no payment or transaction that is made within VCSS.
Yes, yeah, like to piggyback on that as well. We've gotten a lot of questions, or like for example, like if I pay via check, do I still have to use wallet, or if I use pay.gov, do we need to use wallet? The answer the answer to that is yes. So for wallet at a minimum, so if if you're deciding on paying your like non-IPAC bills via, pay.gov, check, or etc., wallet would just be where you would list your treasury account symbol, and that would be it, right? But if if you're choosing to pay your monthly bills via IPAC, then you would need to fill in the IPAC fields for DoD agencies, and then for civilian, you would just make sure that the ALC for your BOAC is listed in our systems, and then it'll just be IPAC, right? So even if you are choosing to, pay via check or pay.gov, you would still need to like use wallet just simply for the treasury account symbol listing, and then that would be it. So
Thanks, Reese. There are a couple of questions in here that we might not get to. Some of your phrasing, I think you're trying to be quick in typing your question, so we're not 100% following what the question is. So if you are, like, why are they not answering my question? That could be part of the reason. Please reach out to us at this email address here that you see on the screen. I also, Joe, our head of short-term rental, wasn't able to come off mute earlier when I was talking about short-term rental billing timing. And so he did chat me an answer or just extra information, which I think is super interesting. So I'm sharing it with you all too, just to kind of talk about that short-term rental billing timing. I know some people are concerned about getting these bills long after their rental. We do want to point out that those are definitely anomalies and not something that is standard across our program. Through FY25 quarter two, all of our rentals are getting billed on average 3 weeks after, 3 weeks later. So they are getting billed within the same fiscal year. Mostly they're getting billed timely. I think there are just a couple of those anomalies that we continue to work through. So just wanted to clarify that and make sure that you're not, we're not giving off the impression that there's some big, larger problem with short-term rental. They are really anomalies, and you can always reach out to us if you have questions about that.
I see another question about AFE surcharge. For some months, I see AFE surcharge on my vehicles, but more recently, I do not see the AFE surcharge. Any thoughts on why this would be the case? And like I mentioned, those surcharges are set at the agency headquarter level, and they may change throughout the year depending on your agency's acquisition projections. So this year, a lot of AFE surcharges are already turned off. In fact, most of them are, and so most of you should not be seeing them. There's, I think, just a handful of agencies that still have their surcharges turned on. So that's the reason why you're not seeing them on more recent bills. And the surcharge, is the surcharge not assessed if the vehicle is not used? The surcharge is assessed when mileage is reported. So whether you drive it 1 mile or 1,000 miles, you're going to be assessed that AFE surcharge each month.
I typed an answer to this question, but I think it's worthwhile to say it out loud too, Ryan. So I'll just say it. So somebody had asked for the FY26 rates. They're looking in GSAFleet.gov right now. Those FY26 rates do show as pending. They are not active because the active rates are still the FY25 rates. So until we cross over into actual FY26, those new FY26 rates will show as pending. So just to clarify that, if you're going into GSAFleet.gov to try to look up what those FY26 rates are, you will notice that they are not active yet. Not as by design. We have a question about using 2 TAS within the same BOAC, and I want to clarify that Wallet does not allow for more than 1 TAS to be entered for a single BOAC and a single business line. So for example, if you are a GSA Fleet leasing customer, you can only use 1 TAS for your accident costs and 1 TAS for all other costs. You can only use 1 TAS for STR under the same BOAC. You cannot have multiple TAS for the same BOAC for STR. You cannot have multiple TAS for the same BOAC for purchasing. And you cannot have multiple TAS for the same BOAC for those two separate GSA Fleet leasing lines of accounting that exist in Wallet. You can only use one. If you have questions about that or want to discuss that further, you can reach out to us at this email address on the screen.
I see a question. Can I run a report to get an estimate of the FY26 monthly rates for all of our vehicles? That's not something that is conveniently easy to do in the current system. So it is something that you're going to have to do manually if you're trying to do it for all of your vehicles. But again, the rates are by SIN, so you can pull the rate for all of the vehicles of the same SIN and generate an estimate that way.
We have a question about pay.gov and VCSS when processing in G-Invoicing. So I want to clarify, VCSS will continue to be in existence. You can still see your billing statements, and everything that you already see in VCSS today will continue to be shown when we're in G-Invoicing. Pay.gov will not be used when G-Invoicing is used, though. G-Invoicing is what will pay your bills. Pay.gov will not be needed anymore once you have orders processed through G-Invoicing. So just want to clarify that and confirm.
And yes, Michael, the FY26 in FY26 rates in gsafleet.gov still need to be loaded by our developers, but you can see those rates on the page where the bulletins are able to be downloaded. And again, feel free to reach out to your FSR or to the oversight inbox for more questions.
We have a couple of questions about G-Invoicing and who will provide you with their GSA vendor number and WBS element. I don't know that that's something that's going to be necessary, although you can reach out to us offline here at this email address if you want to discuss further. But all of the G-Invoicing, the way that G-Invoicing is going to be set up for GSA Fleet is they are all going to be seller facilitated, meaning we are going to be initiating the G-Invoicing order to you. And we will be recording that GT&C number in Wallet. So I don't know that this is something that's going to be required. But again, we're still almost a year out from G-Invoicing. And so we're also on our side still developing the requirements and learning how it's going to work. So I don't want you to take that as gospel, what I'm saying, but I don't know that those are things that you're going to need since GSA will be initiating everything ourselves in G-Invoicing. But definitely reach out if you want to discuss that further. We do have someone asking for STR billing, saying that they need to add an FMZ for STR billing. I do want to clarify that within Wallet today, you can go into Wallet and add supplemental accounting details, including your FMZ. So that is something that is available already today, and you can utilize that functionality within Wallet. So another good question on G-Invoicing here. If you're not currently set up in G-Invoicing, but have your line of accounting information loaded in Wallet, will your bill still be paid through that Wallet invoicing, or will we have to manually submit payment through non-IPAC payment? So the way that we are planning to set up G-Invoicing is that Wallet will trigger whether it goes via G-Invoicing or whether it goes the normal process, like today's normal processes for billing. So for example, if we're in May of 2026, GSA Fleet has gone live with G-Invoicing, but your agency is not ready yet, we will not mark your line of accounting and Wallet as G-Invoicing enabled, and you'll still be able to get billed via IPAC the way that the way that you are today. So there shouldn't be any action or any manual work that you'll have to do to change the way billing happens once we go live with G-Invoicing. But happy to reach out and discuss specifics with you if you have more questions on that. Question is, when we'll be able to see the actual FY or 2026 rates for budgeting purposes? They are up and live. Ryan, do you want to remind folks where they can find them? There's 2 different places.
Yep, so they are live at gsa.gov, and then you can navigate to the vehicle rates. They will be in the gsafleet.gov rates page. Our developers are still working on getting those loaded, and we're building up our functionality so that we'll be able to eventually do that ourselves in the future, but our developers are tasked with that right now. So in gsafleet.gov, you'll be able to see that shortly, but they are currently live in gsa.gov, and then at the vehicle rates.
And Jason just put the link to that directly in our chat here, so you all can access that more easily as well. Thanks, Jason. All right, I think that's it that we have for questions. We got some more coming in. It is not billing and rates related. We have a couple of them in here that are not billing or rates related, and we don't have necessarily the experts directly on hand to answer those questions. So we're going to type in an answer to you on who you can reach out to for that specific question. We'll, get in touch with you that way. We just don't want to provide the wrong answer here on our part. So unless there are any other questions about billing specifically, we can probably start to wrap this one up, Stacy.
And just a reminder as well, we are doing this exact same session again next week in the afternoon on Thursday. So if any of your colleagues were unable to attend, or if you have additional questions, please feel free to register for that one, and hope to see you there.
Thank you everyone for attending, and thanks to Ryan and Reese for a great presentation, and Megan and Jason, and if there was anybody else helping with Q&A, thank you all too. There's the only names that are currently in the panelist box. But yeah, like Ryan said, there's a repeat of this session. If you are interested in learning about requesting additional vehicles from GSA Fleet Leasing, there is upcoming training on that. Next week is the first session, and then the second session is the week after that. Those are also posted on that link where all of the training things are. If you don't have that page bookmarked, it's a good one to do because that's where the presentations are posted. That's where the videos get recorded, and then as we have future sessions planned, they will be added to that with the registration links as well. So encourage you, if that's something that you are curious about, definitely try to join one of those sessions. And if you can't because of scheduling, the recording will always be made available too. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week.